Bazz, thanks for joining us on this Piscari Insights video. Really appreciate talking to you again. Had a great conversation last time, and this time it'll be a recording for our audience. Some great topics to talk about, but before we start, just introduce yourself really. What do you do and who are you?
Lovely. Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I'm Bazz Deans. I'm a Kiwi. I have a video technology and storytelling background, and so I am VP of EMEA here for Shootsta. We're essentially a video tech platform that enables companies to scale video content through a suite of applications and professional services.
Brilliant, very good. So, questions we had are kind of on our mind, all around kind of video and content, which is very relevant to my audience and I think everyone now that I look at on LinkedIn. So, quick question. So, first of all, kind of how should B2B companies be using video as part of their content marketing business development strategy? And give some examples some good examples of how they're doing that.
Yeah, wonderful. I think, Mike, for me, we've seen a lot of B2B marketers focus on the awareness stage of their funnels. Of course, everyone uses different language, but I'll use a few of the generic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
For us, they've looked at that from a hero perspective, creating great television commercials, EVP pieces, and then often it stops there. And they don't look at necessarily the full spectrum of opportunity with video throughout awareness, consideration, obviously intent, and then conversion. So I'll delve into a few more examples today of
that'd be great. Perfect.
Expand the horizons a little bit where they can take it. So I guess the awareness phase often do an incredible job from that perspective of making sure, the users, the end users, the target audience understand, the value or the brand values and messaging. However, I think what we're seeing is, of course, the incredible need for personalization and localization. And these challenges are really pushing marketeers right now. It's a lot to take on. And I think for us, from an awareness piece, there's a lot more to come. I think if you look at social selling strategies from some of our clients, what they're doing in that space is really opening up more of a one-to-one conversation with reps or maybe marketeers as well, and looking at maybe creating more thought leadership when we talk about selling on LinkedIn, for example, and opening up those opportunities. We saw a really fascinating example of that from Mac, so a B2C brand, but I think obviously we can all learn from each other. What they did is they had amazing internal content created by their artists and their trainers, and they recognized that was incredibly powerful from a product knowledge perspective to take to market, to put onto socials, and they actually took that from Mac and then externalized it, which was a wonderful example. And we'll also go across, the virtualization of event space. We know that it's just got ginormous opportunity. It's also got ginormous challenges. The ability to cut through right now is tough. It is incredibly tough. And we've seen some of our clients, Schneider Electric especially, created around 100 videos plus for a 4-day virtual event. Just elevate up that quality of video content to really get cut through and of course resonate with an audience and follow them up effectively.
And how are you finding in terms of managing quality? And it's a key thing for bigger brands that are doing this around creating video-based content. How do you manage consistency of kind of quality, maintaining brand integrity? How does that work?
Yeah, it's getting more and more tough. You're getting different internal stakeholders, obviously being pulled from pillar to post, trying to deliver on a huge number of different audiences, digital personas, as they say now. And I think what we're seeing is that starts to stretch that brand value and messaging ownership. It means there's hundreds more people involved. And I guess we're trying to, especially in a virtualized world, create that consistency. So how do you actually overcome that? How do you make sure there is consistency? I think there's obviously a need to consolidate. There's a need to have some sort of single sources of truth, some platform plays or ecosystems that allow for our clients, or obviously any person out there trying to create that consistency, to have something to, champion the messaging ownership and champion those brand values and look to almost hold clients to account as much as clients holding partners to account on that front to ensure that messaging is consistent. I think there's a lot said for, brands out there right now who are looking to deliver video content across multiple channels and actually being able to make sure that their teams understand brand from all sorts of different angles.
And how does, just from a kind of business development point of view, because we've all received, now very popular on LinkedIn, you get a video message in your inbox but it's just another form of email. It just means I've got someone speaking to me personally rather than it being a DM or an email. Just talk. And then the other extreme is you've got brands doing insight pieces on video, which are professionally produced, studio quality, high quality. They look like ads, but they're content pieces. How do salespeople kind of get involved in video content without kind of stepping over the line of kind of brand problems and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, great question. What a challenge. And I think it goes back to your original question, actually, around the full funnel and look at consideration. You're looking at the piece there when you're starting to build the trust, as you say. It's up to, now it's over to the BDM or the sales rep or whatever terminology you have to make sure that they become the advocates and control that brand message. And sometimes, to your point, a marketeer can't be across that at all different shapes and forms. I think there's some simple tips and tricks. There is the ability to balance personalization with commoditization, or I guess more seamless control. And so we've seen some great examples out there where a marketeer might inform the template that a BDM or sales rep should use, but then allow them to have a certain form of personalization, whether it's in video content, allowing them to control the introduction, but then the middle or body of the video is actually locked down and I guess controlled.
Right.
And then the outro is personalized as well. So it ticks your box around personalization, sometimes localization, but also, I guess, homogenization if needed from a marketing level. So that's one really clear example. I think there's obviously dozens more, I'm sure we can go.
I bet that's pretty hard to control in terms of you need a platform of some kind to do that. So, which brings us on to the next question, which is, how's technology transforming the way that video marketing is used and deployed in brands?
Yeah, so, obviously we know right now that one of the greatest challenges is what we've just covered off, the consistency and continuity. And technology sometimes enables it, of course, as you know. Sometimes it actually blows it out of the water and makes it even harder because you've got so many different solutions in your tech stack. I'm sorry, I'm a Kiwi as well. Technology, I'll use the full one. Essentially, for us, how we've seen it, I guess, be utilized more effectively is looking to understand how do you have a single source of truth for the planning stage of video content, the pre-production, peri, and post-production space, and look to work with those hundreds, if not thousands, of different video solutions and also video technologies out there right now to bring them together and make sure that there is a greater sort of understanding within that ecosystem that we are all trying to solve the same problem. And I think for us, I guess that's how we've come to be with regards to our own platform. We've recognized that we've taken 6 years of clients, insights and data, 40,000 videos throughout our platform, initially our product, and then also a lot of customer advocacy and market advocacy groups to inform us that some of our clients need control across all of those different stages. So planning, pre, peri, and post video production. And so I see that as a big area of growth for not just us, but a whole video tech, I guess, ecosystem.
And that takes me on to another couple of questions around the technology enabler. So one is, how do you find these video assets? So for brands developing hundreds or thousands of videos, how on earth do you search and get the right ones? And secondly, how does video impact SEO, which I think we've discussed before and is something that's probably quite close to your heart?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things from both angles is essentially you want to be meeting the needs of your audience in a timely and responsive manner, right? And actually that speaks exactly to their intent. Now, I think I'll obviously answer the second question first because it might help inform the first question. For us, we've looked at understanding the intent for our audiences, both on web search, of course, Google predominantly, but Bing also, et cetera, but also on internal platforms. How a Yammer or Workplace or all these different platforms, how are people searching and what content are they looking for? Now, that's been delivered very well in the past via, more written word, but not very well delivered via video. And so that's often traditionally because it is incredibly expensive. It takes a long time to turn around and therefore, you've missed the boat, so to speak. So for us, we're looking more and more at how do you scale video content and how are your clients scaling video content to actually take those queries from your audience, build a script very quickly, create video content that meets their needs in a sort of resonating and very clear message, and then deliver that video content back to those web queries or search engines or internal platforms to make sure your audience feel nurtured and I guess cared for. So that's one way you can contribute massively to search engine optimization through optimized video content. Now, to answer your first question, I think when you're searching for great technology out there, you're doing the same process, right? You're looking for knowledge around sometimes specific product features, or you're looking for a business that resonates well with you from a point of view of purpose or culture. And obviously, ultimately, the two meet in the middle. So we believe that, I guess, when you're looking for great technology solutions, you often search for it and you want to see an interesting and, I guess, clear message, I guess, provided to you by that provider, I should say.
And something on video that's kind of been on my mind for a while is that, you know, I've shot loads of different videos. I'm doing this series, for example. In terms of SEO, do you need to produce a transcript of the video to sit alongside the video on your site? Is that no longer necessary because Google understands how to do that inherently? What's good practice?
Yeah. So from that perspective, I'm not going to pretend I'm the exact expert in optimization of video content, but I do know a little bit about it. So I guess from my perspective, you know, the world is changing very quickly, but the inherent knowledge that we give to our clients and also our partners that we work with, especially an amazing partner called Performance.io, they help us understand the machinations of the metadata behind video content. So to answer your question, we always recommend having, of course, captions. They can, on different platforms, be baked in, or they can be SRT files. Now, they obviously contribute massively to SEO, but then you've also got, say, on YouTube, you've got your timestamps. So that's where you want to make sure that you're actually contributing knowledge and obviously content to those timestamps so that the algorithms can pick up those areas of the video that are most relevant to a user who's searching for information. So they can go straight to it sometimes on a 25-minute video, if you needed to create a 25-minute video, which isn't always necessary. But if you did, that you are delivering the user to exactly the knowledge they need at the right time in the right place.
And how's that done? Just out of interest, because that's a very interesting point, is that I've noticed on YouTube recently, just as an individual, when I'm searching for something, it's got my search intent, and then it's found a video, and it's said, look at it from minute 4 minutes 17 seconds to like 5 minutes 20 seconds. What's happened in the background to enable that to happen? Is it just the algorithm, or has the provider done something more to deliver those kind of timestamps?
That's right. So it's the provider's done more to provide for that. So they built a platform there. You do need to understand the machinations. It's not difficult, but you just need to have access to timestamps. That's all part of your YouTube strategy when you're actually uploading content. You therefore just need to go to the tab on the back end, make sure you input your timestamps, and then it actually pulls through that data when, of course.
So on the timestamp on the video, when you upload it, you go into the timestamp area and you say what's at 4 minutes 20, what's at 5 minutes. So you signpost key things that happen at different stages in the video.
Correct. Yeah. And I guess there is different language. I think key moments is now more widely used. It may be used
key moments.
Interchange with
I've heard about that.
So it's a similar world, and apologies if I was using the wrong language there. I think key moments is probably the part that a lot of you out there know, but it was used to be timestamps originally.
Okay, so kind of like next question that was on my mind was around, when you talk about data-driven content marketing strategy, which you talk about, what do you mean by that in the context of video?
Yeah, so I think what we've seen so far is that people are used to searching for and finding great, I guess, written word, blog posts, whatever else it might be that's relevant to their need. But now what we're seeing is with video being, of course, one of the most exciting, most interesting, and most, I guess, powerful forms of content out there, we're looking to actually drive video content based off people's search queries. Now, what we want to do there is, say, for example, Samsung, one of our clients, they want to deliver video content for unboxing new products, creating excitement around launches, making sure that people that search for a specific product feature are delivered that exciting and interesting new product from Samsung in a really unique and interesting way. And sometimes it can be focused on community, or it can be focused on their bigger search queries, I guess, on Google. So we've seen that really work well. Other ways is about making sure that people from a more how-to basis can find out really relevant, important information really quickly via video when they search something online. So whether that might be internal, we've seen some amazing internal use cases where on Yammer, for example, clients are delivering wellness information when people were yearning for understanding of how to look after themselves in this hybrid or virtualized world. So that's an amazing way to use it through video, which will allow, obviously, for it to be more, resonant.
And that leads me naturally into the kind of like the analytics world. Is that are there new platforms evolving now that allow you to do video data analytics to see how long people are spending on certain portions of the video? What's most engaging, what's not. How's that working?
Yeah, it's a burgeoning market. We work with a number of different partners. We've got about 4 to 5 in that space. Video marketing partners and a number of other areas as well, especially around learning and development. So we see a huge opportunity there, to your point, around one area, which is, of course, analyzing the interaction and, of course, the call to action and all the different other areas of that, I guess, funnel that you're hoping to achieve through video content. Now, what we're seeing is the ability to combine those 2 points that I made earlier. So data-driven content helps, obviously, clients or potential customers find the video content, but then making sure that you understand how they've interacted with it to inform the next form of content as well is super powerful. And so what we're seeing right now is that ability to follow the whole journey. So you've got a perfect example is a virtualized event. Imagine your first 2 videos leading up to an event that you create with whoever, but hopefully in some cases us, is about creating engagement and driving intensity and hype around that video potential virtualized event. Now, you'll learn from the first one, right? You'll understand what worked, what didn't. Did they drop off early? Did they actually engage all the way through? Did they click through from there? That's up to, obviously, your marketeers to understand the metrics. But if it had a drop-off rate at 45 seconds, look to iterate that and deliver a second video that actually addresses that challenge and concern. Because, of course, you can use data to inform that side of things. Then, the actual virtualized event itself, for example, with Schneider Electric, they knew the 50 or 60 videos that really worked for them. So in the next virtualized event, they can deliver a better experience. So that's essentially what we see.
Okay. So it's the same principle, but it will be that landscape of the kind of like the analytics, the insight, and then the kind of the feedback loop that says that worked, that didn't. Let's reshoot something similar in style, but different in content. That's going to be an evolving world that we're going to see, that's for sure.
Precisely. There's no reason why it can be any different from all the other forms of marketing that have been going on for years. Same can happen eventually in podcasting, happen in animations. It's all agnostic, based around data, I suppose you'd say.
And you do something called Stories on the Street. Just talk to us about Stories on the Street. What is that about?
So it's a huge passion project for myself and our founder and CEO of the business, Mike. So Mike and I, we were in London one day. He's based in Singapore, but he was over here. And we realized we had a commonality, and it was around the distress of seeing too many people homeless, and obviously in living experience of homelessness in this city, but also, of course, throughout the world. For us, that was obviously heartbreaking. Obviously, we can only do so much, but we wanted to do whatever we could based on our skill set. So Stories on the Street essentially is a platform for change and opportunity. It's a way of actually connecting those homeless people or people with lived experience of homelessness and their stories with people that can help, and look to find ways of connecting partners, whether they might be corporate, whether they might be individual, with the people that need the help the most, in a story that's relatable, because we've all been through some hard times. And for some of us, it went a very, very wrong way. Some of us, we made our way out of it. And often we find that people in homelessness were in very similar positions to us, and they just had a harder turn. So we built a platform around that. We built a charity, of course, and also a not-for-profit a plan around that. For now, unfortunately, it is on hold. It's it hurts, but we will get it back. It'll be a case of just rethinking our strategy and rebuilding towards, I guess, the future with hopefully helping homelessness.
Very good, thank you. And yeah, just in summary, Bazz, kind of like around that kind of video content marketing, video content in business development. What's your kind of your summary of kind of where it's going at a kind of a macro level, and how agencies and brands should be getting more involved in video?
So I think for me, Mike, what we're seeing is a full overhaul of a go-to-market strategy and plan for our clients in the business development space. So whether that affects, as we said before, the top of the funnel, looking at new ways to engage and interact in a world where we need to be far more personalized. Of course, that means at far more scale. That's one area. But then where it gets far more interesting, in my opinion, is where you start to see the interaction between, I guess, more one-to-many opportunities for video content, where we start scaling that as well. But also how to, I guess, salespeople or reps throughout that journey have higher touch points with video content, which creates more connectivity, creates a bit of trust, creates more education and inspiration throughout consideration. And then ultimately, how do you close the deal? How do you actually find ways, especially in the B2B world, of course, to make sure that at that final hurdle, whether it might be procurement or whether it might be just making sure that buyer or buyers understand the onboarding process and what's to come to get them across the line, that's where we see huge opportunity for creating video content that actually really meets those needs and actually speaks directly to their challenge and our outcome they're hoping to achieve.
Very good. So Bazz, thank you. Brilliant. Been really interesting. It's delivered on everything that I kind of thought. There's some really interesting topics there. So for our audience, just last few words, kind of where can people find out more about you?
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike. So thank you again for having me. And you can find us on www.shootsta.com. And then, of course, you'll find the localized area of Shootsta from there for ENGB. And then, obviously, you can find me on social. I've got Sebastian and then Bazz in there, so you can find me on LinkedIn.
Very good. Bazz, thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mike.